I'm ready. Okay, a very good morning class. Let's start with the chemistry. What we have studied in our previous lectures, we will just have a brief recapitulation about that particular topic, and then we will start with our brand new topic, that how can we check out the strength of our acid as well as base. Okay, so let's start. See, the topic we are studying, we have discussed our two classes, that is our topic, acid, base, and the salt. In this particular topic, what we have basically described, what we have basically derived, that what are our acid and base. Besides this, we have studied how can we differentiate our acid as well as base. Uske liye what we have done, use some indicators like phenolphthalein indicator, or like we are having turmeric pepper indicator and so on. Okay, besides the litmus paper also. Besides that, we have studied that what are the different concept, what are the different properties of our acid as well as base, in which we have studied so many chemical reactions which have told us that yes, this is acid and this is our base. Whenever we react with metal, this would happen. Whenever we react with carbonate, bicarbonate, this would happen. Okay. And in the last class, we have discussed that all our acid as well as base, basically they have one thing common, which is known as H positive or OH negative. यानी हमने ये ऑब्जर्व किया था कि if we are discussing our acid, they have H positive in all acids. Like I'm talking about acetic acid, I'm talking about hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid. Whereas in our base, the one thing which was common was OH negative. All our base like NaOH, potassium hydroxide, KOH, and many more, they have OH negative common in them. So we have studied all these concepts. Now we have our brand new topic, that how strong are acid or base. See, ये बात we have observed कि हमारे जो acid है that have H positive and our base that have our OH negative common in them. But the question arises, how can we actually determine the strength? How can we say that yes, this acid is more strong than this acid, or we can say this base is more strong than this base? Okay, so for checking out the strength, for calculating how strong our acid or base is, we have a new concept known as pH value. The new concept is based on universal indicator. Okay, we have made a table, we have taken a series, we have taken a kind of tabular form in horizontal direction, in which we are going to discuss that yes, this is the value, this is the pH value, on the basis of we can say that this is our strong acid and this is our weak base. Okay, so let's start. If I'm talking about pH value, this is based on a German word where P stands for potent, which means power, and H, that is quite obviously, H here represents us H positive value, or the concentration of H positive ions. Now class, have a simple concept that we have studied in our last class. We have observed that the R acid have H positive ions common in them. So just check out the H positive value to just check out the strength of acid. We need to describe what a pH value wants to say us. I have already told you that there is a tabular form in the form of horizontal direction. Sorry, not horizontal, in the vertical direction, sorry. In which this table is based on universal indicator. This universal indicator is common for all our acid, base, as well as neutral substance. Now, what is a neutral substance? A neutral substance means which is not even acid, not even base. Not acid, not base. This is completely neutral. Or we can say this is a kind of salt when we have reacted our acid with base and we have made this neutral substance. Okay. Now, this tabular form, this gives us some pH value which tells us that this acid is strong, this base is weak, or this acid is weak, in which we have values from 0 to 14. And the value of 7 gives us the neutral substance. That means if we are having a substance with the value of pH equals to 7, that means our substance or that particular uh, we can say particle or substance or atom, something that is totally neutral, that is not even acid or not even base. And the acids which are from 0 to 7, these are acids which have pH value less than 7, these are our acids. And if I'm talking about base, these are the base which have the pH value between 7 to 14. This is our pH value more than 7 up to 14. Okay, now whenever we are going to move from 0 to 7, we have a same concept that our acidic nature is keep on increasing. Acidic nature increase. And if I'm talking about base, if we are having value from 7 to 14, we can say the basic nature is increasing. समझिए जी बात 0 से 7, the acidic nature is increased when we are going from 7 to 0. That means if we are having pH value 1, that is super strong acid. But if we are having value almost 6.9 or 7, that means our acid is little bit strong. Okay, same as it is, the value from 7, 8, 9, these are basic, but little weak basic. But if I'm talking about our base, which are very strong, these have the pH value almost equal to 13, 14. Suppose I'm taking examples and which would further illustrate the concept of your pH value. Let me check. Let me explain. Okay. First point, the acidic nature is keep on increasing. That means the H positive ion concentration is greater over here. The OH negative ion concentration. Let me give you some example which would further illustrate your topic. Okay. See class, I have already told you that this universal indicator has all the values for our acid as well as base. This universal indicator would have some different colors over it. Whenever we will get a chance, we will see, even in your book, you can see that we have a horizontal or a vertical strip in which there are so many different columns with different colors. Okay, the red color represents acidity. You know that very well. Litmus paper may we have observed. And the blue color that observes your basicity. ये दोनों के दोनों concept we have studied in our we can say litmus paper concept, in which we have said that yes, if our litmus paper turns into red, that is our acid, and if our litmus paper turns into blue, that is our base. These two concepts we have studied. Now, on the basis of this acidity and basicity, we have different colors. If I'm saying about this H positive ions, I'm saying that this is strong acid. That means there must be strong dark red color. Okay, and if I'm talking about this concept, that means which is almost just a minute, I have some different markers. This is almost red, and the darker it is, that means stronger acid it is. Strong acid. And this is the dark blue, which represent the strong base. Okay, so this darker red, this stronger blue color, this represents our stronger basicity as well as the stronger acidity. Whereas if I'm talking about this color, which is almost neutral, that represents a little bit green in our nature. That is a little bit green. That means it is not even a strong acid or not even a base. Now, let me show some examples to you let's make up this topic. Now, on the basis of our acidity as well as the basicity, since I have told you that we have some universal indicator, we have some colors. That we have the pH value 7, that means we have pure water. Okay, now the pure water must have color almost equal to green. On the same basis, if I'm talking about gastric juice or lemon juice, these all are acids. You know that concept, I think, that are fruits which are almost, we can say, having vitamin C, or we can say they are sour in the taste, they have acids present in them, like lemon juice, like gastric juice, and so on. Even in the sting of an ant, whenever an ant stings to us, whenever a bee stings to us, what happens? We have some irritation on our skin. We have some pain on our skin. That pain is due to acid present in that bee or that ant. Okay. So these are the examples in your daily life which have strong acidic nature. On the same base, if I'm talking about pure water, that must have the pH value equal to 7. On the same basis, if I'm talking about milk of magnesia, or we can say milk, the pure milk we drink, that is almost a little bit basic in our nature, the milk of magnesia. And lastly, we have a new. So these are the examples which explains that yes, these are strong acid, these are strong base. So in short, we can say more the concentration of H positive, let me write, more is the concentration of H positive, the strong is our acid. The strong is our acid. Okay. यानी if we are moving to this topic, अगर मैं यहाँ की बात कर रही हूँ तो वहाँ पे H positive ion concentration ज्यादा है. There is the H positive ion concentration present in higher quantity. That's why they are the strong acid. And if I'm talking about this, यहाँ पे OH negative ion concentration keeps on increasing. Okay, so this was whole the topic which describes the strength of acidity as well as basicity. Okay, now we are just going to move with some pH values which have important in our daily life, and then after that we will have some numericals as well as some in-text questions. Okay, so let's start. How much time? Okay. So the next topic is what is the importance of pH in our daily life? What is the importance of pH in our daily life? Now class, you have observed so many topics that yes, our pH is very important. It tells us about the acidity, about the strength of basicity. Now the question one arises, are animals and even plants, they are sensitive to pH? And the answer would be definitely yes. The strength, the substances, the animals, the plants which are in our practical life, we see, we observe, even us human beings, we all are sensitive to pH. For example, I have given you an idea about the bee sting. The bees have some strong acid present in them. Some ants have strong acid, which is the formic acid. Whenever this sting on our screen, what would happen would be an irritation as well as red or red color pigmentation on the skin. This is due to acid present in our skin, which has come from the sting of a bee or ant. Now, for solving this, what can we do? We can apply some baking soda on that, because the baking soda is basic in nature. In short, अगर मैं layman language में बोलूं, I can say मुझे अपनी pH को कंट्रोल करना है, मुझे अपनी pH को न्यूट्रल करना है. That's why on the ant sting area or on the bee sting area we apply some baking soda, so that due to some basic in nature our pH value would be neutral and we would get some relief from that pain. Okay, the second point is the soil for agriculture. You know very well that the farmers, whenever they prepare the land for agriculture, they just put some soil and they try to check out their acidity. To check out the acidity, if this is acidic in nature, they will try to put some medicines, some liquid syrups which are basic in nature. Why do we use them? We just use them to make our soil neutral, so that if our soil would be neutral, the agriculture would be nice, the production would be nice, and the farmers would have better benefits. Okay, now if we are going to third point, that is our stomach. That means our digestive system. Our stomach, our digestive system is little bit acidic in nature. See class, whenever we eat some food, what happens? It goes to our body, it goes to our stomach, and our stomach releases some acid. It releases some hydrochloric acid in our stomach so that we can digest our food. So I can say our digestive system is little bit acidic in nature. Now what happens? We eat oily food, we eat some fried food. What happens? To make them digestive, our stomach releases more acid. I'm repeating it again. If we are having some oily food or some fried food, what happens? And when we intake that food, it goes to our stomach. Our stomach releases more quantity of acid just to digest them. And if more quantity of acid is released, it would digest the food, but the excess acid would be left untreated in our stomach. And we will say that we are suffering with acidity. Okay, so there is no acidity by eating the oily food. This is our stomach, this is our digestive system, which wants to digest that particular food. And that's why it is releasing more amount of acid. Okay, so now if acidity is present over there, if we are suffering from acidity due to some oily food, what we can do? We can have some milk of magnesia, which is basic in nature. I have just told you in the before 5 to 10 minutes ago, I have just explained you that milk of magnesia is basic in nature and it is made up of magnesium hydroxide. So it is a kind of anti-acid, or we can say yes, antacid. This is basic in nature. So whenever we intake the quantity of it, what would happen? It would help to release the activity, it would neutralize, it would help have a relief in our digestive system. Okay, and lastly we have teeth. Our teeth are the strongest, we can say, strongest part of our human body, and this is made up of enamel, which is of calcium. Our teeth are strongest, they cannot be even corroded by. But what happens if we want to intake some some oily food or some acidic food? What would happen? Our the saliva of our face, the saliva which is present in our face, that would be acidic in nature. And what would happen if the saliva present in our face, in our mouth, is acidic in nature? Our teeth that are made up of calcium, our enamels that are made up of calcium, that would be start corrosion. That means they would be start corroding, they would be start diseasing, they would be start breaking down, and that is harmful for us. So that's why in every morning we use toothpaste, and that toothpaste is basically basic in nature. Okay, so Just to have some relief, just to protect our teeth from acidity, what we do, we just brush them with toothpaste, which is basic in nature. So from all these examples, what I want to convey to you, what I want to deliver to you, that we have some importance of pH in our daily life. Either we are talking about ourselves, we have taken the example of wasting, we have taken the example of agriculture, we have taken the example of our digestive system, or even our teeth. Everything is pH sensitive. Everything is based on pH value. That means if we are having some acidic or some quantity of basic extra, to make them neutralize, we will do some value of base to just neutralize them to make the pH value equal to 7 that we have just discussed. Okay, I'm sorry. Now we will discuss some in-text questions present in our book, and after that we will have some doubts of you definitely. Okay, so let's start. We have some in-text question. The question number 1. I hope you have got this topic, the importance of pH and what is the strength of acidity as well as the basicity. We have some in-text question. The first question is very, very important question. Let's discuss. You have two solutions, solution A as well as solution B. And the pH of solution A is 6. pH of A is 6. And the pH of solution B is 8. Which solution has more hydrogen ion concentration? Or we can say which of this is acidic, which one is basic? Okay, class, you know that very well. I have explained this in detail, that our pH value totally indicates us the strength of our acid as well as base. Okay, we have discussed that if our pH value is 7, that means this is neutral. If our pH value is 0 to 7, that means acid is over there. And 8 to 14, that means base is present over there. I would more precisely write 6.9 and 7.1. Okay, now we have given the pH value which is equals to 6. So that means there is acid present over there. Okay, and if I'm talking about pH value with 8, that means we have base present over there. Now the topic arises, which one has more H positive ion concentration? See class, I have already told you that the acids always have more H positive value present in this. So if I'm talking about acid, that means the A solution is acidic as well as more H positive ion concentration. And if I'm talking about pH value B, that means this is basic in nature. This is our first question. Okay. Now let's move to our second question. What is our second question wants to say us? What effect does the concentration of H positive ions have on the nature of the solution? I will repeat again. It wants to ask to us. Just a minute. What would be the concentration of H positive ions in solution? Now, we know that very well that the concentration of H positive ion describes the strength of acidity. The more will be the value of H positive ion concentration, the more strong is our acid. So if the concentration of H positive ions is greater, that means there is strong acid present over there. Okay, so we can say that concentration of H positive ions is directly proportional to acidic nature of our solution. Very well. Now let's move to our third question. Do basic solution have H positive ions? If yes, then why are they basic? Okay, so the third question is the base Do they have H positive concentration? And the answer is definitely yes. Now, you would be a little bit surprised that we have discussed that only acid have H positive ion. But the question is here, base also have some little bit, we can say, concentration of H positive ion, but this concentration is so small due to more presence of OH negative ion. Because if I'm talking about the base, we are talking example of KOH, it has OH negative ion concentration so much into it that if it would split as H positive, the concentration would be so small that these are ignored, these are overcome by the concentration of OH negative ion. And hence we can say that yes, acid have H positive ion, but the concentration is so low that it is overcome by the concentration of OH negative ions. And hence they are basic in nature rather than acids. The last question we have, under what soil condition do you think a farmer would treat the soil of his fields with quicklime or slake lime? This quicklime or the slake lime, these all are the concepts of calcium hydroxide or calcium carbonate. That means they are basic in nature. So the question with our farmer's topic is this: how would you say that they would treat their soil with the help of calcium hydroxide or quicklime to their soil? And the answer is only if our soil is acidic in nature, only in that particular case we can say that our farmers would treat our soil with some base. Okay, so to just make our soil completely neutral, to make its pH equal to 7, the farmer would treat their soil with some base. All right, so this was all about, we have discussed about the strength of acid and base as well as the importance of pH. Okay, so let me just have a brief recapitulation and then we will go with your queries and doubts that you have, and we will see the topic which we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, let me have a brief recapitulation. In today's class, what we have studied basically, we have studied the first one, how can we check out the strength of our acid as well as the base? And the answer is on the basis of pH value. The pH value defines us the power, the strength of H positive ions. The more would be the concentration of H positive ions, the strong is the acid. For example, HCl and acetic acid. I'm taking both them into 1 ml. 1 ml of HCl and 1 ml of, sorry for that, 1 ml of HCl as well as 1 ml of our acetic acid. Now the question arises, which one is more acidic in nature? So definitely the HCl would be more acidic in nature, and the only reason behind this is the strength of H positive into them. The strength of H positive ions is so much in HCl rather than acetic acid that yes, our strong acid would be HCl. So in short, we can say the concentration of H positive ion, the pH value, both these values give us the brief idea, the exact idea about the strength of our acid. Secondly, we have studied the importance of pH. We have seen that if we are having the pH value equal to 7, that means our substance is completely neutral. And if the pH value is less than 7, that means acid is present over there. If the pH value is more than 7 up to 14, that means there is a base present over. Okay. And lastly, we have studied the importance of pH, which wants to say us that we need to complete our substance complete neutral. Only then we can deal with them. For example, I have taken the example of bee sting or ant sting, and we apply some base over there to get some relief. And we have taken example of our digestive system and our teeth. Both these wants to be completely neutral. Only then we can say that our substance is neutral, and I would say that our body is working properly. Okay, and then we had some numericals and some in-text questions. So this was all about this topic. In tomorrow's class, we will see the new topic, that is soul. We have completed our acid as well as base, and in tomorrow's class we will have our base about the study of soul, about soul.